Well, Daryl, this episode is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. We're going to have a little bit of ebbs and flows. We're going to have some highs and lows, but it's going to be a fun one.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be a fun discussion. I don't know if we're going to have that much fun. We'll see. But now I have laid the foundation for three questions. Can you die from a broken heart? Can you die from laughing too much? And can you die from being scared, not including any heart attacks? So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, the first question. Can you die from a broken heart? The simplest answer is yeah, you can. It is known as the broken heart syndrome, man. All right. According to the American Heart Association, broken heart syndrome, or Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, yeah, is a reaction your heart has to a surge of stress hormones caused by an emotionally stressful event. Broken heart syndrome causes the heart to stop operating normally, resulting in heart failure. During these situations, the body releases an increase of hormones which temporarily paralyzes your heart and limits its standard functionality. This syndrome is different in that it can develop in anyone, even someone who is healthy. Those suffering from broken heart syndrome experience a sudden pain in their chest and shortness of breath, which is why many mistake it for a heart attack. Heart attacks cause a complete blockage of arteries to the chest, while broken heart syndrome causes arteries to slow blood flow. When the
Ooh.
heart is scanned, no blood vessel blockage or death of cardiac muscle is seen.
I believe it. I believe it because, like, I know in my past, whenever there was like a significant emotional upheaval,
Hmm.
and, like, you feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
You feel it. It is like a knot in your
The
chest.
most probable example of this was after the death of Carrie Fisher, better known as Princess Leia from Star Wars. Her mother, Debbie Reynolds, died just one day after the death of her daughter. She was quoted as saying, "I want to be with Carrie." Her cause of death is unknown to this day. Well, I have seen this often in my line of work. I had seen many times a death certificate for a spouse and then seen another death certificate for the surviving spouse just a few weeks or a couple of months later. In fact, a U.S. study following 12,000 people who are over 50 years old and in stable couples showed that male participants were nearly twice as likely to die in 3 months following their partner's death. Next question. Can you laugh yourself to death? Once again, the simplest answer is yeah, you can. The first is laughter induced syncope. Now, syncope is a fancy word for fainting. It is a type of vasovagal syncope. This means when your body overreacts to certain triggers, such as a sight of blood or extreme emotional distress. This overreaction causes a sudden drop in heart rate and blood pressure, leading to reduced blood flow to the brain and a brief loss of consciousness. This vasovagal syncope can also be triggered by coughing, defecation, and micturition. Better known.
Defecation, you can
Mhm.
shit yourself into passing out.
Yeah, remember? It's attached to that little vagus nerve, so if you could shit and pass out. Although this is not considered fatal, passing out can always lead to severe injury. The American Journal of Medicine has documented three cases. One they sort of debunked, but two have been diagnosed with laughter induced syncope. The first case was in 2007 when a 29-year-old man experienced syncope, hit his head, went in an uncontrollable fit of laughter, leading to a brief loss of consciousness. His medical tests were normal, except the tilt table test was positive for vasovagal syncope. But what was weird about it wasn't just a brief bit of laughter and then pass out because of the pain. It was an uncontrollable one, and then he passed out. So that kind of leads to the laughter induced syncope
Okay.
in my
So
in my
he
instance.
had some sort of weird psychological reaction where his reaction was just to laugh and way too hard.
And pass out. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Weird.
Yeah, another one. Uh, in 2005, a healthy 32-year-old barber heard a very funny story from a client. He passed out. This patient had no heart problems and all lab results were normal. The question remains, what was the funny story? I
You
could
know,
not find it. No.
I'm dying to know because I wonder if it's one of those ones where it's like, you're going to hell for laughing at this.
Mm.
Because I generally laugh at that, and I was wondering if it's like, making some jokes about like, retarded people or Jewish people or something, and they're like, you laugh, you're going to hell, and then they do, and then he's like,
Plus, it's in a barber shop, so we know it's got to be a good one.
dicey.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't find it. I looked all over for it and nothing. Just nothing. Well, there is another way laughing can get you. It is called a pseudo bulbar effect. This involves uncontrolled or inappropriate episodes of laughing or crying.
Worst inappropriate laughing ever, and this is going to sound so stupid, was when I was at a PGA tour event,
Uh-huh.
and it
I take that
wasn't
shit
like,
seriously.
well, it wasn't that. It's just that you're supposed to be quiet. Whenever
Uh-huh.
when they're taking their shots, they got all those people that stand there with their hands up, and they got the signs that say "quiet" or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a golfer named Stephen Ames, and he's and kind of looks a little squinty, and he's got very large teeth and stuff. and I thought he was a little silly looking. And my dad, who was at this golf tournament, at this PGA tournament with me, I look over at him, and he's sitting there going like this. And they got the quiet signs up, and I'm trying not to laugh. And he just keeps looking at me, going, "What is this?" And I'm trying so hard not to laugh, and it hurts so much.
Well, of course, these inappropriate episodes of laughing or crying, they don't match your internal emotional state. Although episodes of laughing or crying may seem appropriate for the triggered event, such as seeing or hearing something funny or sad, they tend to be more difficult to restrain. They can also be more intense and last longer than you would ordinarily expect.
Here's a question. All right, say you're seeing like a dead loved one,
Uh-huh.
and I'm pretty sure you're aware of this, but gas builds up inside of dead bodies.
Uh-huh.
If you're viewing the body of a dead loved one before they're embalmed, and their dead body lets out a big long fart, do you laugh or cry? Is it sad that this is the last time I'm gonna hear your blast ass, or
No,
is
you
it
gotta
funny
laugh. You
because
gotta
he
laugh.
he let one more go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look at him, still farting, still letting him go. You couldn't
Just
hold it?
curious.
Come on.
I'm not sure which would be the appropriate response. So
I think you would have to laugh. You would
okay.
have to. You have to find some reason to laugh at that moment. Now, lastly, can you be scared to death? And I'm not talking about having a heart attack. What I have found out, it is also a vasovagal response. You experience a sudden, intense fright. There is an overreaction with your body, and you can faint. That part is simplistic. Some people faint, some people throw a punch, like you alluded to earlier, sucking your kid. Some people,
Yow.
yeah, but some people have seizures. There's a case of a 21-year-old student who had repeated tonic-clonic seizures, meaning your,
Tonic seizures.
yeah, I never heard of it before either. It means body seizing up and loss of consciousness.
Okay, I was gonna say that sounds dirty, but okay.
Well, he's out. Might as well. Being induced by, but this was being induced by mental images of human pain. He also had a seizure by listening to someone reading to him of someone suffering. This only happens when a student was envisioning images of suffering or it being read to him. It was noted that he hasn't had an accident or incident since putting in a pacemaker, but it's still a mystery as to why hearing or seeing suffering would cause those symptoms.
That's really weird because that's like I have a physical reaction to that. I
Yeah.
talked about it in what it was episode one. Episode one is the one where I talked about that. Where like if I see somebody get hurt or whatever, like I was in the room when somebody got stitches removed out of their fingers, and I went and grabbed my finger. I couldn't help it. Uh, there's a movie I watched where somebody takes a basketball pump with the needle on it, and you don't see him put it in the guy's pee hole, but you know he
No,
did,
oh my
and
God.
it's just like ah, and at that point I flipped over on the couch and I'm grabbing my dick and I'm sitting there kicking my legs like a little girl,
And be like,
screaming. It pissed my cat off. My cat jumped on the back of my leg and started biting me, telling me to stop being such a bitch.
You looking for the cat?
Oh yeah, no, well, her ashes are up there.
Oh, you're
So
looking for the air pump.
I just it's one of those things like making sure she ain't gonna jump on me for talking about her. But her get ghost cat jump on me. So
Well, to sum it all up, all three can happen for basically the same reason: a sudden or intense reaction causing your body to overreact while dumping lots of adrenaline into your system. Depending on your heart condition, it could kill you. There are a few cases, as I laid out, that fall out of the realm of an easy answer. So, in my opinion, take care of your heart. You never know when a fit of laughter caused by a podcast partner, a broken heart caused by a lost family pet, or a late night phone call from one of your kids that will always scare any parent could be your last.